Yes. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. I think it's the last session for the year, maybe. I'm not sure. But with that, what a treat for today to have an incredible human being, super incredible producer that will share some great stories about his background, his experience. I put in the chat, this morning just as a prep, like, you're up for a treat because once you engage L'mar, maybe even not right away, it's maybe half a mile away, you can feel his energy and enthusiasm, and it's unique, guys. Let me tell you, and I think that's part of L'mar's success. L'mar, I can read the bio and tell, but I don't want to, I don't want to be boring. I think let's give it a stage and take us through who you are in a nutshell, and then the story of like how you went about real estate.
Hey, I'll try to give it a nutshell. And actually, I have not had my coffee yet, so I will be a little bit more tame than normal. But so I had actually been fighting my parents on real estate for years because my father actually wanted me to get in real estate when I was 17. I grew up in a family that real estate was always kind of a side business. My parents were in business in the clothing business and in warehousing, and so and aside in kind of backwards way, I was in real estate the whole time because I was going to the stores with them and doing the tenant improvements and going to the warehouses and so on. Anyways, I was in tech for a long time. I was in a job that I didn't like. I had a new kid, really big bills. I had a stay-at-home wife, and I finally just said, forget it. I couldn't stand my sales job anymore. And I had this real estate license I had been paying for every year, but not doing anything with. And I decided if I'm going to renew this again, I need to do something with it. So I quit my job. I called Donna Eller, who used to be over at LA Harbor, and said, okay, I'm going to go try real estate for like 2-3 months. And she was laughing. She said, you can't just start it for like 2-3 months. I said, yeah, no, I'm going to do it. And I said, if I don't make it in 2-3 months, then I'm done. I'm going back to IT. And she said, that's not the way to do it, honey, but okay, let's go and get you set up. I went to the Beverly Hills office, and I went in and told them, I said, I need to sell a house in this next week. And again, they were kind of laughing at me and said, you can't do that. But I said, what's the quickest way to do it? They said, well, do an open house. It's okay. So I said, what do I do if I get a sale that weekend? They said, you're not going to get a sale in an open house. No one gets a sale on their first try in an open house. That open house I had in Studio City, I had 3 people lined up outside waiting to write offers. I could not get a hold of anyone to help me learn how to write an offer that day. I got upset, left, and my real estate career is almost done. I will fast forward this. Sorry, I talk a lot, but I end up going to a different office and getting 2 different people to mentor me at the same time. Tammy and Brandon, Team Echo, and then Martin and Mike over at Ensbury Group. And so I end up joining the commercial team, but I also asked Tammy and Brandon if they could help me on the residential part. They end up told the story. They gave me a small open house over in Lawndale. I hosted it from I think it was 8 or 9 in the morning to 7 at night. I set up 20 signs. I made it like it was a retail store because that's what I knew was retail. And I ended up getting 3 buyers that day, and I represented 2 of them and closed that. And that was kind of the start of it. And then I thought to myself, this is so much friggin' fun. Why didn't I listen to my parents before? And that was kind of the start of it. Yeah.
That's I just learned something new about you, and that's so awesome. By the way, we had Brandon in our mastermind yesterday as well.
Oh, nice.
Imeco in South Bay. So tell me, take us even. You kind of touched it in a nutshell, right? And I know it's because I didn't have coffee yet. So next time, make sure you're gonna have a double espresso. But you really bring a lot of experience. So yeah, so you had family business that was kind of part of your DNA, right? And we know that nobody is born into it, and even if you do, like, it's not like you have to do this. So you made a decision, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. When with experience, so listen, I thought I didn't know anything about it, and I thought, you know what, I'm almost 50 years old. I'm getting into real estate. As a, you know, I see all these people who are making a bunch of money and they've been doing it for 20 years and 15 years, and their parents are brokers or third generation realtor. And thinking, how am I going to compete against these people? And it's still, I guess, I mean, even um, this year before I just joined South Bay, I had my TC give me a compliment to say that I actually know a lot more than I think I do. And I hear that a lot. And I think I'll probably continue hearing that because you're always going to have self doubt and look at our people who are doing, bigger numbers. But when I realized, first off, sales, I've always been sales and I've always known sales. Everyone is a salesperson. Everyone knows sales. Everyone, you're selling your boss on why they hire you. You're selling your girlfriend or your boyfriend on why they should accept you. You're selling yourself all the time. But I didn't put that same thought into real estate. We all know homes. We all know what it is to live in a place. We know what the rooms are. We know what someone needs in a home. And when I realized that my experience with IT helped me on analytics, on data mining, which is one of the biggest things you need in real estate. When I realized my experience being around my parents and developing stores was important for commercial. When I realized that I used to work in shipping and logistics and as a buyer, and how that helps me with a lot of things, understanding supply chain between different places for commercial. When you know, you have to kind of dig deep into a lot of the things you've done in the past and realize there is some area of real estate that applies to and just makes you an expert on it. And so that's like, that could be like an hour with me. You know how long-winded I am, Many. So when it comes down to experience, the basics of it, I realized that all the weird jobs I took, all the weird experiences, and I kind of throw myself into all sorts of weird events all the time. And someone invites me to something, I pretty much always say yes. And I tend to be a little talkative if you haven't, met me before. And all of that just became kind of a foundation for what I think makes for a great real estate career. And just being curious, and being open to learning and keeping your eyes open to everything that's going around you. And I ask people questions all the time to learn.
Love that. You nailed it with and I think it's inspiring a lot of people. That's why we have those calls. Excuse me. When you said you pretty much identified your strengths, right? Your superpowers, and say, I can, utilize that in a different type of field of business or what have you to generate whatever income and utilize that to the benefit of others too.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah. No, the one thing I found, if you talk about that, I had to really, when we're at mega camps, try to kind of pinpoint what it is that I do well. And it's funny because I talk a lot, I make a lot of friends. A big part of it, though, too, is as much as I talk, I do ask a lot of questions. I try to get to know people and know more about them. And I'd found that that's probably one of the biggest key things is making friends with people. Who doesn't want to make friends? I mean, I literally actually do it, like want to know about a person. You'll hear about it when you're in sales classes about qualifying people. What is qualifying? It's getting to know who that person is, what they like, what they don't like, what they need. When you know enough about a person, then you know enough about what they need. You might be able to find a need for them in real estate that they didn't even know they had. Right now, I was trying to personally just get a couple deals in contract before the end of the year. And all that happened was I was calling people to say, happy holidays. What are your plans? Start talking about the market. People, of course, ask about the market. I start talking about what their normal plans are. I know about their life. I know about what they're planning to do, what they want to do. And I was able to create a roadmap for two people to get them interested enough to go write offers and get them in the contract then in a couple days. And we're probably going to close on both those before the end of the year. And that's all in the period of last week to now. And that only happened because I know the people I talk to. I know them well inside and out.
Yeah, you're one of the most present people that I know, in a sense of like when if you guys are gonna meet L'mar, and you're gonna see him a lot of the South Bay office over there, but when you talk to him, I mean, it's like you're right there right now. There's no distraction. You're not like looking around how to get your present. And that's a superpower. That's a strength, right? It's a skill. Question for you. So what are you focused on right now? Again, you're very diverse in your background, right? Retail, commercial, residential. What are you focused on right now?
Now it's residential, and that's the hard part. That's why I was asking Jen to help me on that. Yes, even my old mentor Martin, Martin Ensbury, he was upset with me the first year because he said, "Stop it." He just said, "Stop it, focus," because I'm supposed to be on apartments, doing apartments and warehouses, and I was selling condos, and I'm doing retail leases, and I was doing business brokering and all sorts of things. So, oh, I know that. I know that. I want to learn that. Even a hotel, I was doing off market, and I'm really trying to keep focus only on houses, residential. Now, when I say residential, though, that does include apartments. That includes 2 to 4, and it actually includes, I even think, like 5 to 7 when those come by my way, because it really, you have a place, you have a roof over your head, you have a bathroom, you have a kitchen. To me, it's all house. It's all house, a place someone lives in, and that's what I'm kind of focused on: small houses. Yeah.
Yeah. How many languages do you speak?
Fluently or poorly, because I don't speak any fluently, not even English. Right. So no, I would say fluently 3 languages, but then I understand, like, really comprehend, where like my family can speak to me and I respond back in English, 6 languages. So, but
Wow.
yeah, but the thing is, I have to respond back in English all the time.
Yeah. Well, the reason
Yeah.
I'm asking, because a lot of people are, bilingual or multilingual like yourself,
Yeah.
in this melting pot called Los Angeles. Are you utilizing that part of your way to go about
I
business?
I I I I don't. I use it more for comedic effect because I'm kind of a clown, and so I'll say like silly phrases in different languages to kind of trip people up here and there, and so like right now, I've tried to learn Mandarin because my son is fluent in Mandarin, and so there was one of Tammy and Brandon's open houses. I was trying to learn from my son like all these different phrases for open houses. I keep on forgetting.
Oh,
I do use it sometimes, like Spanish. I do use quite frequently. I've used French, here and there, very rarely, because most times I've had French clients, and it's been more just so if I need to explain something, or they need to explain something that's hard to say in English, that they need to get something across. It's more like that. Some languages I've been very weak in, so it's more of like I use it more to like try to bond with a person, I guess, to show some similarity, but it's not the biggest thing for me. I do want to kind of utilize it, but I also don't want to rely on it as a crutch as my thing, because when it comes down to it, as much as I like having the ability to communicate, or have, I would say, more so knowing a little bit more about how a person thinks by understanding certain words or concepts that are easier to explain in certain languages. For example, in the Latin languages, you have a lot of like the cariñosos, you have a lot of things that are more from the heart, more about the feelings, a lot more words about the feelings. And my father, his side of the family, they speak Farsi and some Turkic languages, and you have a lot more things that come up in metaphor to describe things. So there's a lot of double entendres and things like that, and it allows you a little glimpse into the mind of people when you're dealing with that. And so I use language more as kind of like an entry level way to understand a little bit more about what's the foundation, how this person may think. But I don't. I try not to use it as a crutch, because all language is just a way of communication, where it's text, phone, email. It's just a preference, the way I put it in my mind. What's more important is, again, what does this person need? What are their desires? What are their wants? Who are they? It's more about qualifying them as an individual rather than locking them into some little box based off of their form of communication.
yeah, I love that. And the reason I'm asking is because I know that you're multilingual, and I think 2 things. Number one is it makes the person very diverse, and diversity in this era is got to be part of our business and lifestyle, and especially again in Los Angeles. And the second thing, you said it well, you understand cultures differently, and
Yeah.
you can be a very skillful communicator, regardless to even if you really fully speak the language, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a skill. And also, by the way, like, if you are fluent with whatever language, I always like to mention that, because if agents that watching us right now and later have a client and they don't speak the language, right? They're like, hey, L'mar speak that. Let me call L'mar, and we
Yeah.
can team up together. So, so if you guys know anybody who's speak Mandarin and can, open to teach L'mar and his son, just reach
Oh,
out.
my son's actually fluent.
Oh, he's fluent. Okay.
Yeah, he's yeah, my ex-wife, she did her master's in China, and she lived there for quite some time. And so my son, that's his first language. I put him into Mandarin immersion program and Spanish dual immersion program, and English is his third language. So we figured he's going to pick up English living here anyways. This is where he's born and raised. And he's in a full immersion program where that's all he speaks all day long with his classmates. And we start him off even with little blocks, and yeah, he watches TV in Mandarin, everything. Reads Mandarin, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's great.
That's how he says things to his friends, so I don't understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
One of the advantages.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself? So you mentioned this coming year you're going to focus more on residential, as most agents are familiar with and practicing, and then 5 to 7, which like a comfortable spot. It is commercial, but it's again very user friendly compared to the bigger one. How do you plan to really focus on that this coming year, knowing that it's a more challenging year and there's going to be more of that unknown downtrend, price correction, rates, whatever? Where's your mindset at?
My mindset is I'm excited about this year. I don't see it as a challenge. I think it's I'm actually happy because okay, I get very animated on things like this, but I don't. I like people, but I don't like when people are lazy and complain. I like when people, if you're going to you have a little bit of complaints. People have bad days. I have bad days. Everyone has bad days. But complain about something and then do something about it. And I find in real estate, you run into a lot of people who complain after not seeing results from not doing anything. And so I look at this market coming up, that a lot of agents who complain because of no results from inactivity, they'll hopefully leave the market. So I'm excited because it's more business for me. With volatility, with volatility, with change, you have so much more opportunity. And it's an opportunity to find better deals for all these clients. Kind of tell me, L'mar, I want a deal, and they don't know what a deal means, but they just want to have that discount. They just want to feel like they win. This is the market for it. For people who want to sell a property at a good price, they're still there. We have the rents; they're still increasing. We have the eviction moratorium is ending. We have a supply shortage. We have interest rates that just bounce all over the place. It went down again for second day in a row yesterday. So there's so much opportunity as long as you're flexible to flip back and forth to buy side or sell side, or go from someone who's going to buy for long-term hold for someone who's going to invest and send to a property to fix it up. Again, I see shinies everywhere, and it's hard for me to stay focused because there's way too much opportunity. I'm excited about this year. I know a lot of people are concerned, and I think this is a time. This is a time of the cycle where you really can create a name for yourself. Just really working hard and find out what is the area you want to focus on. So, right now, all the buyers I had that were sitting on the sidelines or waiting for any type of volatility, this is what I'm calling. These are the people I'm calling. These are the people I'm approaching. These are people I'm educating. And to do it properly, I'm constantly reading the financial news. I'm constantly reading what's going on with developers. I'm constantly paying attention with government affairs to find out what are the new policies that are coming out and how that's going to impact landlord tenant rights, how it's going to impact building rights, what's going to happen for the next 4 to 5 years. Because anything that's going into effect right now, any laws being put in place right now are not going to really have a major impact until the next cycle. So this is a time to get those long-term buyers in and into a place, or have sellers that that want to have an escape route into a different market. So
Yeah, yeah. You see that's where your kind of engineer brain, type of brain, and your commercial experience kicks in and adds, very unique value add to, let's say, residential practice, right?
yeah.
It's a different twist.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No,
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 I was gonna say, and that's the thing. But even right now, like when I say I'm only focused on residential, I'm still reading. I'm still going on CoStar every day, and I'm checking the comps
oh yeah,
because to know if I know my rents, and I know what's going on the commercial side for residential commercial, then that's going to let me know what are some of the factors that are going to soften some of the hits that certain the residential markets are taking. You know,
yeah.
so.
Where are you getting your news from? Like, do you read, a newspaper, just online? What kind of sites?
Everything. I mean, I read The Economist. I look at CoStar. I'm part of different networking groups for commercial brokers. I have a lot of financial planners I network with, and I check. I do read newspapers ferociously. CNBC, and I mean, it's constant. It's always in. When you're at my place, there's always something in the background that I'm listening to, or reading. And for me, it's fun. It's like people have different hobbies. Like I know my girlfriend, she finds all sorts of, she's very bright, but she likes to, her downtime likes to be binge watching really silly shows on Netflix. And that's awesome. She'll watch those and I'll start falling asleep if I have to focus on it. I always have my iPad next to me, I'm reading something more about, what's going on, with the market. And sometimes if I do get burnt out and I need to just dumb down my brain, I will also get a lot of my information from different lenders I talk to. But my big advice to anyone, find a financial planner, find a CPA, find a couple lenders that are commercial and residential, and make a little networking group with them where you talk. And I do that. We collaborate and we talk a couple times a day. It's part of my work networking group, and we share our information, our insights we've had. And we do it for like 10, 15 minutes, but we're always learning something from each other about what's happening in our respective markets.
I love that. Financial planner, CPA, realtor. It's like a wealth building team, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very smart. How do you use leverage? And when I say leverage, in a sense of you've been mentoring people as well, right, for a long time. How do you go about that, and like what's your plan to grow that even more in that sense, if that's part of your business plan for this coming
It
year?
is part of my business plan. So my business plan for this year, I don't plan to get all the way out of commercial. I love commercial too much. The reason I got into residential, that I have to take it back there. I was sitting on a commercial meeting one day, and I had this, and I was with the Ensbury Group, and I had this gentleman from one of the banks come in, and he started presenting all these great programs that were fantastic for first-time buyers, but specifically it was originally catered towards minorities. And I kind of thinking to myself, my God, is this true? They have programs like this? And I was thinking about how my parents are successful, and they did a lot, but they came here and they didn't have much at all, and they struggled and they worked so hard. And I thought to myself, if they had this knowledge and this information, how much wealthier would they be? How much easier would life have been? And if they could have passed this information to me when I was younger, how much easier would life have been with this information? So I remember speaking to Martin about that, and I said, look, this is when I first veered off. I said, I want to teach other people. I want to teach people who are just working class or have mattress money, or immigrant families, minority families, people who can really benefit from this and have the hunger for information on how to better themselves, not just buy a house in the beginning, but get into a 2 to 4 unit for their first property, and then learn how to invest in the portfolio. So that never changed. So when I was leaving to come to South Bay, I was looking at going to a commercial firm completely or sticking with KW, and that's actually what my the end goal was. I thought to myself, okay, I got offered some pretty cush positions, either salaried or normal agent positions at commercial firms, and I decided, no, I want to do this where I really do take my commercial knowledge and create wealth for families in residential and start building up my own circle of investors for syndications by doing that over the years, teaching other agents how to really dive deep into commercial real estate investing and utilize that in the residential business. And that's when I say I'm going into residential, I'm going residential to try to, within at least myself, my own team, improve myself, learn from top residential agents, and combine that knowledge to be the best agent I can to create wealth for my clients and to train other agents to do the same. So that way, whether they're with me or they're on a different team or I'm just encountering them on a contract, I know that I'm dealing with a better caliber of agent who's knowledgeable, who cares about our clients, and we can speak on the same level. So we're really working to better the better the area by bringing knowledge to our clients. And I know I'm going on a tangent here, but just really do our job and our fiduciary responsibility to our fiduciary responsibility of creating wealth for our clients and looking after best interests. And I know I just went off this big tangent, but this what this ties into my long-term plan. You mentioned my 5 to 7 years. I want to build a team of like-minded agents where we really dive into things like the burnout buildings. I have someone specialized in the probate and conservatorship and trust. Have really make it so these things that people find so difficult or scary, distressed homes and REOs and short sales, they're not that scary. Just spend the time to learn it, and we become kind of the hub for all these so-called hairy deals or difficult deals, and educate people on it where it's not so scary, right? That's what I want to do. And then once that's rolling like a machine, then I can go back and invest in commercial real estate. I might not be selling it, but let's go back and use that knowledge because it's fun. Commercial real estate's fun. So.
And by the way, whoever's watching later in the recordings, minute I guess I don't know 24, 25 of the of this video, go back and listen to what L'mar said, because I'm hearing you and I'm already seeing your team's mission statement, mission vision, and you just said it like you kind of repeated like about 3 times the same concept, which is
what is it?
which is reinforcement. But that's exactly so I say like 24, 25th minute, go back, but you because you keep saying about you bring a very specific value to the consumer and to agents, right? So I love that. That's deep and powerful.
Yeah, and then on the mentorship, like I started on the mentor program in the previous Mark Center, and I was very picky about the mentees. I told them I'm happy to mentor people. I actually mentor people all the time. Anyways, when people ask me questions, I always like helping, and it's helping people. By teaching, you learn. You're always going to learn more, or at least reinforce some old things that you might have forgotten. But one of the things that I tell them, I want to find out, what is your goal? What are your plans? Because ultimately, when you ask about what I want to do without new agents, we kind of touch on that. I want to I want to create an environment where I can have. It's kind of selfish. I want to have more agents around me that get excited about the stuff that I do. It's I want to create my own big circle of friends that get excited about not just helping people, but have these cool stories about how they've taken people. Like one of my clients right now, the guy stands in front of Home Depot, and he's one of those guys that works with his sign to go take odd jobs. His wife works at a retail store, and I have him on their 3rd transaction right now. This is what I said when I was trying to help different people, different programs. And she was like almost crying in tears yesterday because we're in escrow. We're going to be closing soon. And in a year and a half, it's going to be their 3rd property. She said we're becoming investors and her whole life has changed. And I wanted, if that ends up being your goal, I want to teach people like, look, this is not that hard to do. You can do it. You just have to have knowledge about the market and put a little bit extra work and do it. If your goal is to get into luxury, I mean, I grew up in that area with the family, and it's not that hard to break into. People say, oh my God, it's going to be so hard. How do I get these clients? Like, well, you got to just, show that you're competent, be there, be present, let them know you're there and show you're competent. People don't pay attention to numbers and how many deals people are doing. I see so many, my friends, when they're choosing agents and me and someone else, there's an agent I've seen has maybe done one sale in 3 years, but they're really good at social media. They're posting everywhere. So everyone thinks, oh my God, this agent is so successful. Um, I, I did a bunch of deals like off market, commercial, and doing some residential, and no one even knows I'm an agent because I'm horrible at social media. So so going back to that with the new agents, I want to say there's nothing stopping you from just jumping in and becoming a rock star in the first couple months. It's you just have to know what your goal is. Qualify yourself first, and then you start qualifying your customers and educating yourself on it.
Yeah. And it's very inspiring, by the way, when you're sharing that, because you basically, again, you kind of is the gist of the successful mindset, right? Of how to go about business in general, right? It's just be competent and have that sharing mentality, not be afraid of showing up and do the hard work, and also to learn, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna give a personal example of my life. I had two big turning points in my life that were hard. When I mentioned that open house, I so at that time I just quit the job, as I mentioned, and Tammy had actually was going to give me an open house in Palos Verdes, which I did take later, and it was like a little over 5 million. And I said I don't really want that at first. I want a cheap house that someone will buy, an investor will come in to buy for a flip, or someone could buy really quick because I need to sell some. I need a paycheck right now.
Yeah.
And the reason I needed that was my wife. Right when I started Ignite, that day it was my first day of Ignite. I got a text from my ex-wife that help accident. So I left the office, went rushing down to Culver City to go find my wife and my kid, and they were involved in a horrible car accident. And so I had to stay close to home to take care of them. And at the same time, right when I'm starting, a couple days into my brand new real estate career. So I needed to make money and fast and be close to home. And there was a lot of stuff going on there. And there were a lot of challenges. And that was one of the things there that was kind of tough, where I'm thinking, okay, we had very high bills. We're living in Playa Vista, and I need to make money fast while I'm also dealing with this stuff, taking care of my wife, and my kid. Fast forward, this last year, I had a lot of challenges. This last year, where I couldn't work all the way up until September, and I needed to make money again badly. Because of necessity, I was forced to only work those 3 months, and I ended up capping and making more. Doing a decent amount from September to December, and then I'd realized it was kind of my breakthrough, where I realized, you know what, when you're desperate and when you have a gun to your head or you're up against the wall and you need to do something to survive for yourself, your family, again, like Gary Keller always talks about, is why. I had my whys. My whys was protecting my son and taking care of my son and survival. And by doing that, I was able to do things where I know there's a lot of agents that do huge numbers. For me, I was more happy about capping in 3 months than with a high cap. It was a commercial cap, and over at that office than it was about anything else, because I said, "Wow," I said, I did this much that quickly. Imagine if I stayed focused, did all the tasks I'm supposed to do, and worked the way I did those 3 months. I had a gun to my head and did that every day, every month, every year. Oh my God, I'm going to kill it. So I set myself a really high goal this next year. And how I plan to achieve it is keeping that type of intensity up.
I love that. It's and different words. It's what you call self-discipline, right?
Yeah.
You have to show up and do the tasks or whatever is needed, even without necessarily enjoying it, right? Because this is just what you have to do.
Exactly. Yeah. No, we were talking on one of our coaching classes yesterday. They're asking some of the basic things you do. And I didn't even realize how many calls I get through in a day until I was talking to Jen about it. And I felt I've been lazy with myself. And then I have ISA and going through the dialer, we're going through 8,000 dials a month. Right. And that's me being lazy. I can actually go through more if I actually focus just on the calls. So when people say they can't reach a bunch of people, or we can't, this is the thing I hear a lot. Oh, we can't find clients, can't find leads, can't find this. Like, oh my God, you go to your title rep and you get all sorts of information. There's list of people you can get anywhere for pennies on the dollar, and you get a dialer for $100. Like, if you just sit there all day and actually really do the work, and you dial 200 to 400 dials a day, you'll find a customer. If you are even barely competent, you'll find someone to sell something to.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. It's a contact
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah.
It's spot on. Well, L'mar, we can we can keep chatting for 4 hours as well, but we kind of reach to the time that we're gonna end this call. But I want to thank you for making the time to share that wisdom with us, and we're gonna get you again on this call 6 months from now, what have you, and we're gonna check in, right? How you doing, to hold you accountable and keep supporting your success.
Awesome. All right.
All right, L'mar, thank you so much.
Thanks, Meny.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, everyone. All right. Bye.